We went through motherfucking the unbelievable.
This beat is so
Hey, hit the block and sell drugs. That's exactly how it was. Take the Sprite and take the codeine and I pull me up a cup. Get a mile and drink on mud and smoke some bud is how it was. Last night we made a movie, I'ma tell you how it was. How it was, nigga, how it was. How it was, bitch, how it was. How it was, nigga, how it was. How it was, I'ma tell you how it was.
It is March 21st of 2025 on a very early sunny morning and very breezy winds on a cold day. It is 7:30 a.m. and we are waiting for L780 to come back as he's doing work up south. L780 is a local northbound train that comes through the A line and the S line at Plant City, usually on weekday mornings. Since it's spring break, I thought this was one of my only opportunities to come out at a time like this. It was Friday, the last weekday of spring break, so this was our last chance to see L780 come down the A-line. The reason I want to see him so bad come down the A-line is if you already know, and if you already been to Plant City, the S-line, which is the two tracks that cross the one, is a no-horn zone. So all of the GP40s and the GP38s that come through here can't blow their horn. And they have the best horn, in my opinion. But through the A-line, it's still considered a horn zone. So since he comes down here, I want to hear him up close. And I haven't heard the GP38's K5LA in about 3 years, up close at least, so it's going to be really accomplishing once I do today. The goal for today is to see L780 come down the A-line, which is the main track that you're looking at right now. If he does, he'll be able to blow his horn all he wants right next to us, as I haven't heard a GP40 or GP38 right next to me blow the horn in about 3 years. So if it happens, this will be a very successful time. In a way, I kind of fumble my only chance at seeing this guy due to the camera shot that I have of him, but this will definitely go on Rail Fanning Annoyances Part 2, but let's just see how it turned out. After I show you L780, I want to show you other occurrences that happened around Plant City at this time. L779 made a quick visit down the south side of Plant City, and he was supposed to come back but never did until we left at about 10:15, but came back at about 10:37. You definitely get that feeling of defeat rushing down your body when that kind of happens, but at least we got what we came for, which was L780 coming down the A-line. But at the same time, I even kind of fumbled that in a way, but let's see how I did. Just a reminder, this is the local train L78021, the northbound of the A-line of Plant City that comes on weekdays in the mornings. A GP38-3 number 2001 is in the lead. There are 5 cars behind him. Let's see what happens. Do you guys see where I fumbled? Well, if you didn't, consider yourself lucky, but I'm about to show you. A Vine boom sound effect will play when I made the mistake. So my mistake was I accidentally went to ultra wide when I was trying to go back to normal lens. So if you record with iPhone, there's a struggle that you have. There's little buttons next to the recorder where you can shortcut to a certain lens of the video. Ultra wide is the 0.5 button and the normal lens is the 1x button. Since I was too busy watching the train and I wasn't looking, I thought I was hitting the 1x. Turns out I was a slip away from the 1x button and tapped the 0.5 button. And it took me a second to realize, as you could see, because you could easily switch very quickly, but it took me a moment, so I had to realize it and had to look through my camera first. But it was just a one-time chance of seeing something, and I kind of fumbled it, so I don't know if it bothers you guys or not, but I hope I did a good job. One more thing is, you usually know that I have a second POV for everything, so here's the second POV. Kind of made up for it, I don't know. You guys decide. Let's move on to March 23rd. Psych, I'm not stupid. I'm going to show you what was happening while we were there. Or L779 going across the south side of Plant City. Moving on to March 23rd, 2025. We're starting out this video with a high rail. Nah, I'm just playing. But we're looking at 13 trains today. And today is not going to start off with your usual Amtrak 41 coming through. Not that I'm saying CSX is you know what? Yeah, I am saying that. But you'll just have to find out. But so far, we're going to start out this episode in the same spot. In Auburndale, the plaza. Or not. We are racing to Ariana Avenue because we hear on the scanner that M453 is 7 hours early today. What the What could he possibly be needed so early for? But whatever. M453 was entering Carter's sub on the scanner while we were still at the theme park, so we raced over to King Street, thankfully, with an orange signal, so he hasn't even gone by, nor is he even close? Now I'm just playing. He's like 20 minutes after this. He has an orange-green signal and then eventually turns into a green, but we changed the plans eventually. Now I hear a horn coming. M453 supposedly. I hear an ET44AH number 3406 on the radio. So I was thinking, oh my god, another ET44AH. So basic, bruh. But that stopped me from thinking PO4123 is seconds away from Auburndale connection. We think Amtrak PO41 is coming first, as we heard that M453 is stopped at the exact same milepost as he was 5 minutes ago. So we switch over. So we're racing to King Street because we think Amtrak 41 is going to be first according to dispatch. But something caught my head while we were driving here. I was thinking M453 is stopped at a milepost before a defect detector in Lakeland where there's no siding. So M453 will be right in Amtrak's face, and that just doesn't make any sense. Because if they let 453 come first, he would clear the Y and then 41 could actually go. So I was starting to feel like something's wrong, and then as soon as we were driving to King Street, we stopped. And I mean we screeched, because when we heard the defect detector, we turned around, because 41 hasn't even visited it yet. This is such a roller coaster. Who's first? Well, 453 now, but I thought it was just hitting the defect detector. No, it was finished. We got an axle count, so he was seconds away. The crossings go down while I'm setting up my tripod. If you guys want a summary for all these trains that I've caught this month, it will come out at the very end of March. I will just post every video that I've caught. Here's where you should keep in mind two things. One, Amtrak 40 was right behind him. Second, that was not an ET44AH leading, so what was I hearing down south? We'll deal with that in a minute, but let's look at what we have here. Special thanks for Zachary Loves Trains 2 or Zachary Mathis for letting me join him on this rail finding trip today. Around here is when you can kind of see through the gaps of the auto wreck cars that Amtrak 41 is coming through Auburndale, Florida, and has to stop at the Y because M453 is clearing it right now. This is the exact reverse of what was happening last time on my last visit on February 2nd. I mean, do I even have to bring ourselves back to that? I mean, seriously, that was 2 months ago. Let's just let that go. Let's look at what we have now. Up here, I move up to the end of this crossing to see Pt.2 go through the Auburndale Y.
Is this yours?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Fine.
yeah. It was in the dirt. It's in the dirt.
So we set up at a crossing south of Carter Subdivision to watch Amtrak 98 go by, only to see a headlight stopped at Ariana Avenue. Knowingly it's not going to come down there, we turn around and bolt all the way down Ariana Avenue, not knowing what this train route is, but only focusing on it's there. And we'll figure out the route later. Turns out this route is W24123 because if you heard closely on the radio when I was running from crossing to crossing to catch M453, W241 was talking on the radio saying engine 3406, which is the leading engine here, which I didn't show you the scanner communication, but now I will. Here comes W24123, the southbound work train of Auburndale Connection. Definitely can undoubtedly say that this is a rare occurrence or a rare sighting. W trains don't work that often, and W stands for work. W trains only run when needed. This was carrying one gondola full of scrap. I mean, did they just need some scrap? Like, what? I don't understand. Literally, as soon as we got back, Amtrak P.2 is going to clear Auburndale Connection. Same dumb Sims Charger duo. Let's just watch.
All aboard Amtrak 98.
Nice spotting. I'm barely going to do any talking from now on. I'm basically just going to show you catches with a brief backstory, but let's just go. Inbound, Amtrak P.4123 coming back from Lakeland for the second time. It is 1:46 p.m. The last up today were Sisters as 155 and 154 were leading Amtrak P.41 today. I also want to make a quick shout out of my incoming documentary about my life and how I started liking train watching. Make sure to go watch that. It's coming out in May. At West Dixie Street, we have Amtrak P.4023 coming back from Lakeland. It is 5:23 p.m. and inbound comes Amtrak P.4023. Amtrak is done for the day, and whatever we get from now on will be freight. On Peoples Lane, Lakeland, Florida, inbound, we have CSX I-14423, the northbound intermodal that comes through Lakeland normally at 6:30 p.m. It's coming on its average today because it left UCD Yard pretty early today, but had to stop due to some weather conditions. This is the northbound intermodal train from UCD Yard to Duval. I would say I did a good job on the videography for that one. Just kind of wish it wasn't for a GEVO. What an awkward I-144 today. About 7/8 of his entire train was just empty. About now is when traffic starts getting packed because we're getting back-to-back signal after signal. Literally right after him inbound, we have another train coming, L79323, a southbound local train that usually stacks up to about 100 cars on average. Today he was a bit shorter for a reason I don't exactly know, but I do want to say he's coming a bit earlier than I expected. Usually he comes at about 9:30. Today he's coming at about 6 o'clock. L79323 is entering milepost 851.15 and passing by Lakeland Connection. L793 is one of my personal favorites just because it's a long local train and you don't get those that often. I kid you not, as soon as I'm looking away from my tripod right here, I see a orange signal for south of Lakeland Connection. We were all just horsing around saying, oh yeah, it's just Y220 coming back. Rather, my friends that were calling me saying that couldn't see the semaphore that I could for Y220, and I look at it, it's red, which all concludes that this is not Y220, rather a train that I'm not able to see from this specific location. So we jump into the car, head to People's Lane, and we are literally 2 minutes away from missing M603, a southbound mixed train that comes through Lakeland right after dark. This guy has a yellow-green. He can come whenever the he damn well pleases. It's just the matter of when. When I was questioning this, I picked up my scanner and I realized 3 different people were having a conversation while the antenna wasn't facing the sky. Y220, L765, and M603. They were all just having a group chat call while I was videoing, waiting for this guy to come. Pause. But over radio, it sounded like they were talking to Y220, saying they had to wait for L765 and M603. One of them I'm waiting for right here, and L765 ain't even seeable right here. So I was heard that they were gonna come at the exact same time. Hey, chill. They were gonna visit at the exact same time, and I either had to choose which one I wanted to see most, or I just had to just go in the middle of Lakeland Connection and see them meet. Lord knows it is too late for that, because I hear M603's horn less than a mile away. I'm talking, it's past 6th Street. So I just stayed here and waited for 603 and just went, well, if I miss 765, at least I'm going to see tons more in the future. And also, it's just a short local train. It's not that big of a deal. Man, I don't know if that's going to happen. Watch the video and find out. You are now capable of seeing the lash up incoming for M603. So we just stick with what we got, send our prayers, and sit here and watch. This guy just had a random ass burnt out ditch light on the left, but I'm just not even going to say anything. This is not unstoppable, but let's just watch. I enter the car and I open my scanner, and the first thing I hear is L765 south of Lakeland Connection. All my blood ran down to my feet, and we just stepped on it. We went to Missouri Street as fast as we could, and we made it, but with 30 seconds to spare. I don't know why all of the left ditch lights are being burnt out on these ES44AHs. Maybe there's like a pandemic going around. I don't know, but I've been seeing a lot of ES44AHs with burnt out ditch lights on the left. As soon as I move over to the other side, we have an orange signal for Y220. It is busy. Very short, but wow, a Y and 2 liter. That's something to make up for it. If you didn't catch the number, that was Y2 2023. We literally get a green signal for I-178 as soon as these gates go up. But we wanted to try something different since I-045 also had an orange signal down the King Street. We are at 10th Street looking for the last two intermodals of the day, I-045 and I-178. That is the horn of I-045-23. He is coming right this way. Let's watch him fly through 10th Street.
All aboard, season still up.
Yes, sir. Number 906.
I-045 came through at 9:30 p.m. and I-178 was 20 minutes after him. There's I-178-23 to finish off today's rail fanning trip through 10th Street, with this being by far the best train we have ever caught today. The absolute GOAT is leading CSX I-178-23 today. Want to see? Fuck around and find out. Stay tuned. I'm not even going to say anything. ending out March 23rd of 2025 with an absolute bang. And I'm talking about a nuclear bomb. An SD-70 MAC flared, leading I-178 today. Absolutely blasting that K5 LLA of a horn.
Ice water turn Atlantic, night calling in a phantom. Told them, hold it, don't you panic. Took an island, felt the mansion. Drop the roof, more expansion. Drive a coupe, you can stand it. Bitches undercover, I'm an ass and titty lover. Guess we all meant for each other, now that all the dogs free. And we out in these streets. Can you do it, can you pop it for me?
Pull up in a demon on guard, looking like I still do fraud. Flying private jet with the rod. It's that Z shit, it's that Z shit. Pull up in a demon on guard, looking like I still do fraud. Flying private jet with the rod. It's that Z shit, it's that Z shit.